Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report for the 25th of September. Starting with the CBA here, and then we'll look at the ASX. Now, I use the CBA to get an understanding of the ASX because the ASX can be pulled around by the mining sector or the finance sector, but the finance sector has got a little bit more weight in it. So, I was looking at this here as a corrective pattern here, as an A and a B and a C here for this wave 4 here, which I feel comfortable with. And then the current moving up through here can be counted in 3 waves here. So I was thinking that if we make a new high here on this bar here for this month here, make a new high here, that would eliminate the 3-wave movement here, and then I could start to count it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, because as a 3-wave move up here it could be corrective and as a B wave here. So once that top gets taken out here, then we're on a run to the upside there. So that's kind of how I was looking at the ASX, but the ASX has pulled back quite sharply. So this has kind of got the same pattern here from the low here going up for the ASX here. But with this this is CBA on the daily chart here, and here from this high here, we can look at this here as an A wave, a B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So it does count down here nicely as a corrective pattern. So I was assuming that we could just continue to, move up through here and getting support. This was the 61.8% retracement level from here. So being above here would also help put it in positive ground, which we still can be in that positive ground. This move up through here counts as 1 and 2 and 3 here, and 38.2% retracement level comes back in at 80 here as wave 4 here. So that's sort of okay. So we could look at the ASX like this here as well, and then up for wave 5 coming through here. So on, I'm not sure if it's a 4-hour chart I've got this on or not, probably 1-hour chart. So with the 1-hour chart here, I've got it in green, but the other one's in blue, but the same count in terms of 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. And then this seems to have an extension in it here for wave 5 here. But this can drop to the 38.2% retracement level, which is likely to do that today, as down into this space here. As long as it stays on, what I'm also talking about here, as long as it stays here, then we can look at the ASX being in the same position as well, coming down for a 4th wave here, but in blue, and then moving up here again. If the 38.2% retracement level here becomes the retested resistance for 80 here, then we need to call in this over here, coming back over here, calling this in over here as a high here, and we'll look at a more complicated correction here. So as long as it really stays above the 80 here, it's fine. So looking at the ASX here, I'm just going to mirror this back over here. So this is this is CBA on the daily chart. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 up here and 4 here, and looking for that 5. So counting this up here on this first move here on the daily chart, it's the same as this here. So 1 and 2 here, and this is pretty hard to decipher, this whole pattern here. But if it's a wave 3 here, then wave 4 can come back to the 6,630 area here for this, and we'd need to look at this here as an ABC pattern for here. So I'll just go to the 1-hour chart here, because I've made a mistake up here obviously, and the market has dropped lower here, so I need to look at it firstly in this light here as an A wave, a B wave, and 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4 and 5 here, coming down to that 6630 or 2220 25 area through here, with the main level here being 6650 here again. So we've either got this situation here that's unfolding, or if I go to the daily chart here, and there's a good case for this too here on the daily chart, because you know, from the top here, as I've always mentioned, we've always got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So as a bullish market, I would have to look at this as an A wave to here, a B wave to here, and a C wave to here, and it just never really made a lot of sense. But CommBank pushing higher made sense. So I've seen this kind of thing before, and I'd sort of normally go with the bank. But this pattern here would have this down as the A wave here, over for the B wave here, and then all the way down for the C wave here. So once again, this move here will either stop at the 38.2% retracement level here and move up from that point, and move up into wave 5, or we're going to see this continue down, back down to these lows here again for this particular structure here. So I'm not quite sure which we've got here, so we just need to work through this, and to work through it we need to go step by step. So on the 1 hour chart here, I don't think this is finished down here just yet for this. It looks like we've got, I can count 5 waves from here to here, and then if there's going to be a rally here, then it will come back into the into this mark, this 6700 area through here, if there's going to be any rally off this low here. But it's already made that little sharp spike here, so I need to consider this strong wave down here as a little third wave here, and a fourth wave and a fifth wave down for the third here, and then the fourth, and then the fifth, which will take us into the 6625 in this case. Yeah, so that's sort of how I see it at this point. Apologies for not getting this right up here. I thought we were still going to be pushing higher from this point, but because of this strong move down here, we need to look back at what CBA is doing as a wave 4, or we need to look back onto this here as our original count here. I mean, I sort of banned the original count because from this high here down to the low here, the 61.8% was just in here. It's okay for it to come up to the 7660 point here, the next level here. That's quite often the case. But because it was finding support here on the 61.8%, we were sort of like, and looking at CBA looking to be bullish from that point. So anyway, that's sort of, apologies for that mistake, and this is sort of where we are now, and this is what we've got to work through at this stage. So obviously the market's going to open lower, and we'll have a look at shorting some of the banks on the move down here. But there could only be a couple of days within this move down to this point here and back up again. Okay, over to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong's also in a bearish mode, as I mentioned before. It hasn't followed the US down that much overnight, and we're looking for this move down through here to finish, and then we're looking for some sort of rally before we can get into this position here. So we'll still just wait for that rally to fall into place. It may move a little bit lower through here, but we still need that counter trend to use as a setup to get any further downside at that point. India's been doing the opposite, of course, and it's been moving up strongly through here over the last few days. So just on the daily chart here, we had it counted as 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 here. So I was expecting it to move back up into this box here, back up to this medium level here, this 11,500 area through here, but it appears that it's done it in 5 waves here. So that makes it an impulse wave, and that means that it would, have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave back, to anywhere between 40 and 80% basically, and then move up from that point. So I think it's important for us to watch this, and this will occur across this particular level here. So we'll get a setup across this level here. But if I've counted this down here as 5 waves here, then we'd be looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave back up here. But the A wave here has moved up quite strongly here. So what I was sort of thinking is that maybe this whole move down here is the A wave here, and then this is an A and a B and a C wave back up here for the B wave here. So it's either wave B up here, or it's wave 1 here. So as a B wave here, this would be up for the A wave here, and then an A wave here, smaller A, B, and C here for the B wave, and then moving up through here. So it could be counted like that. So if I can just copy this here just to we'll leave that there just to remind us a bit, but it could be counted that way. But we certainly have an impulse wave up through here, so let's go in and have a look at that. Well, even the owl is not going to really give us much here, but from the low here it looks a little bit like this. As 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and 5 here. There is another way to count this here too, so I'm just going to go to the tick chart here. There'll be one more little wave to the upside here. I'll just need to bring a bit more data into here. So, oh no, that's right. Yeah, bit hard to read. I need to open the chart up much further, but wave 1 was quite small in its length, so with wave 5, and the extension is in wave 3 here. So what we've got here at the top here, just shooting the breeze a bit, is that we've got 5 waves down here, which we can call wave A or wave 1, and then we've got an A and a B and a C back up here for wave B here. This is reluctantly sort of moving down here. It can move a little bit lower here, so it's possible that we can just have it, quite a short span in here. So one of the things here though is that normally we'd normally start up here to go long here again, but we can also, and I'll just configure that into a trigger here in terms of green here. But the second thing here, just to keep us safe here, is we can also go long above wave B here now, because that's pulled back up to its 50-60% sort of area here at the lower end of group 2 here. So group 2 is 65, 72 and 80 here, or 800 in this case. So we just need to give it some time, because it will all be about this number here, about the 11,500. So we just need to give it some time to unfold into that particular space there. Yeah, so I mean, it's had that huge effort here, so it's been strong here. It's had some after effect here that's sort of struggled a bit higher, and now will sort of run out of steam a little bit. If I've got that wrong, we'll be long above the 11,650. I better go to the hourly chart for that. So we'll be long above this particular high here. Or look, better way to look at that is just look for support on top of the 650 area here. Otherwise, we want to see this move down here a little bit. And once we know that this is impulsive here, that's 5 waves here. So after a correction, we should see another 5. We are seeing a 5-wave structure here, but you can see the angle it's on. So normally wave A comes down sharp, which it did, and then wave B, and then wave C here. Normally it's on less of an angle. In this case, it's sort of, on that sort of angle. So it's still showing strength here in that. If it was coming down like this here, then that's a different story. That's sort of normal. But the more angle that is here, the more strength it is to the upside. That's why sideways corrections tend to go up fast. So just we'll keep an eye on that. It may drift lower, we'll see, but if it takes that top out, we'll go long from that point. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Report unless it's done.
Really?
Just holding up some plates.